This conference will now be recorded.
Hi Anil, how are you? Hi Kalpesh, good evening.
Good evening.
Are we waiting for some more participants to join or we can
Yeah,
start now?
yeah. No, so we are just waiting where 5:35 we can start the session. So it is just 2 minutes. So let's wait for another 3 minutes for another participants to join. Hi Yogesh, good evening. So let's start rather than wasting the time. The participants will join. So let me introduce to our virtual seventh meeting for this financial year, the art of report writing by C.A. Swaminathan Sir Srinivasan. It is one of the best faculty with respect to he takes various seminars. The formal introduction will be done by Mihir, but we have been learned, even myself has been learned from Swaminathan sir, what are the various ways and techniques and the report formats of writing a report. So I will tell Mihir to kindly introduce Swaminathan sir. Mihir, can you please introduce Swaminathan
Thank
sir?
you. Hello, good evening, everyone. I am Mihir Shah. Bhavin bhai, thank you for giving me the opportunity to introduce today. So you all are aware today's speaker is Mr. Swaminathan. So let me quickly introduce. He's a CA with well-round experience of 29 years in internal audit, business process re-engineering, customer life cycle, customer experience management, working with various industries like telecom, manufacturing, and hospitality. He has previously been associated with Indian Hotel Company Limited, Tata Group, and hundreds of hotels spread across India and overseas. He also has worked with leading telecom operators like Arcom and Bharti Airtel. So, without further ado, I will hand over to our today's speaker.
Good evening, everybody, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. See, I will take you through the report writing process, which is probably the last stage of the internal audit. Before I start my presentation, this entire report has been written by me based on my personal experience in the last 25 years. So, what exactly has happened and how it should not, how you should people should write the report and what it should be covering and what are the things which should not be there in the report. So I have learned many things over a period of say probably 20 years. Out of 29 years experience, about more than 50% I was in internal audit handling at the senior level. So I hope this report might be of some use to you. Let's have a quick look into the report. See, I will share the PowerPoint probably after this presentation is over. But more than the PowerPoint, I will take you through the examples that will be give you a better clarity because PowerPoint you can read anywhere, anytime. But I will not be able to share the files. These are all because my own company's files, which I won't be able to share. But I will tell you how to do that so that it will be having a better clear clarity on what exactly you are. Okay. First of all, we are having through what is the internal audit. See, many times I have a feeling that internal audit, people are saying that internal audit is just vouching and all that. Correct. But at the end of the day, 1 minute, 1 minute. Okay. Nowadays, in the last at least 10-15 years, the concept of internal audit itself, the definition of internal audit itself has been completely changed. Previously, we do internal audit for the sake of doing it. See, we go to the client. I am telling you about 20-25 years back when I started my DCA. At those times, when I go to the client's place, I just go do the vouching and give some report and come back. We discuss. We don't even many times we discuss with the people and then we come back. Audit is over. Now, The audit is completely changed. The expectation from the internal audit is nowadays is more on introducing how to control the business and how to improve the business in terms of the control, effectiveness, and the assurance activities. That is the key expectations from the client is very more these days. That is why I've written the definition as internal audit is an independent objective assurance designed to add value and improve organization. It is very important. Designed to add value and improve organizations. It helps the organization to accomplish its objectives by systematic, disciplined approach. It's very clear to evaluate the effectiveness of the risk management, control, and the governance process. If you do the internal audit, the expectation is whether there is any loss of revenue or whether how do I control, improve my revenue or how do I control my cost so that my bottom line is improved. This is what, in short, the expectation of many of the clients. Many of the clients, when I say more than 95% of the people. This is what. Recently I have done, I was in Mauritius last year and I was designing a SOP process for a 5-star hotel. My job is only to write the SOP system, SOP for various functions in the hotel. I have written about 65 SOPs and then I have put it into the operation. The next question was, sir, we have put up the operations. Now you tell me how I can improve my bottom. This is immediately it comes, not even less than 2 months of the implementation. See, any SOPs, if you implement, it will take at least 6 to 7 months to settle down. Okay. This is the mentality of the people now. How do we improve the bottom line by giving that internal audit business to the audit firms? This is what expectations. What is internal audit report? The internal audit report is a result of your internal audit. It is also, you can say that it is a final deliverable which flags significant observations and activities required. And the only tangible outcome of your whatever you have done the work for last 1 month or 3 weeks or 2 weeks, this is the only proof that you have done the work and reference point for the start. The last 2 points are very, very important that you will be able to appreciate this when you are seeing the subsequent slides. The next slide is report writing. What is the purpose and objective? The primary purpose of the writing is that whether the formal audit report is whether to whatever you want to communicate in terms of whatever you want to write, whether the person who is receiving or who is going through the report is able to understand or not. Your job is complete only when the other person who is receiving the report, maybe the client, has understood everything. See, many times, why I have written this point as a first point is many times, even today, I am receiving so many reports from big firms or other medium-sized small companies where the clarity is absolutely lagging, absolutely lagging. I'm very sorry to say this, but it is like this. It is continuing like this for past so many years, where a simple observation is being very complicated and they write at the end of the day what they are writing is absolutely not very clear. I will tell you the example also in subsequent slides. In order to do this effectively, a report must be very, very simple, straightforward, and to the point. This is the point you should keep in mind before you attempt to write any report. In order to do this effectively, the writer must consider the audience who will receive and respond to the report. They should be able to understand the report without effort. The person who is receiving, please note that the person who is going through the report or reading the report, he should never come back to you for any clarification. Until such time, we have not done our job. What evidence are everything must be very, very clear. And the back, I am going to tell you what are the back papers also you should have. How do you maintain the back papers also, so that you don't have face any problem even after you complete the assignment. Use persuasive writing to convince your reader to accept the recommendation. Show the reader that your conclusions are very, very logical and valid, and suggestions represent an effective and feasible way of correcting the problem. There are 3 stages of report. First, you write a draft report, then you keep editing the draft report, Then the last stage is the submission. Now we will see one by one what is there. When you write any observation, you should keep 5 C's in mind. I will tell you what are the 5 C's: criteria, condition, effect, cause, and then. How are the elements in it? Criteria, condition, cause, consequence, and corrective action. If you, before you write any point, if you keep these things in mind, you are taken care of. You will write your observation very well, and 50% of your problem is solved. What is the criteria? What should be the case? And what is the condition? What is the current scenario in terms of that particular observation? And what is the cause? What is the reason? How it has happened? And what is the consequence? What is, because of this, what is the effect? And what is the impact? And based on the impact, what is the corrective action and what is the recommendation? The last C is very, very important. That in each and every observation you write, you please ensure that you give a solution to the problem. In the sense, when you write any observation, that observation should not be repeated next time. So you should ensure that by giving some suggestion to the client should be able to implement it so that he is also taken care of, and he will ensure that this particular observation is not getting repeated in the future. That is what I said. Corrective action is very, very, very important. After you write the corrective action, you must ensure that it is getting implemented. I will tell you how you have to do that. This is very, you can read later. What is this report writing? Drafting a finding. How do you, while reviewing the month, see, I will tell you an example for the previous 5 C's: criteria, condition, cause, for that. There is an example. See, expense totaling about 9 lakhs or 10 lakhs is not provided for in the books. How do we take it in 5 C's? What is the criteria? Adequate control should be inbuilt into the system and ensure completeness, accuracy, timelines, coming month and the process. What is the condition? Certain expenses, for example, say INR 9 lakhs is not provided for. And what is the cost? Adequate review procedures, that is maybe the maker checker or completeness checks, were absent. If everything is present, then you would have provided definitely the 9 lakhs in the books. It is lagging here. That is the cause. And because of this, what is the consequence? Because you are not provided the 9 lakhs of expenditure booking, your profit is overstated. And what is the corrective action? Corrective action is that simple: develop a month and closing checklist. Provision criteria for each month should be reviewed an independent person. And third point, implement parking and posting concept in the system. If all these things are taken care of, everything will be done. You don't have any problems at all. And what is a report writing in 3 C's of first stage is the draft, and second stage is the editing of the report. To edit the report, you should keep 3 points in mind. One is the concise, and second one is the complete, and third one is clear. What is concise? Concise means identify the key findings and prioritize. And what is complete? Determine what types of information are needed to support each key finding. And what is clear? Consistently apply standards for coherent return communication. This is very, very, very lagging even today. Day before yesterday also I was going through some audit report, and it is very pathetic. This is a very important slide. It covers most of the important things on how to write the report in the first place itself. Report writing, what is the editing of report? You must always take a printout and review the report in the hard copy. See, the many points what happened, even if you, nowadays we are using only computers, laptops, everything. But even when you go through 100 times in the computer long thread, there is nothing like reading it on the plain paper. It is very simple. The newspaper, when you are there is a difference between reading it in the morning in the physical copy and reading it on the net. There is a difference. Like that, when you read the report, my suggestion will be take a printout of the report and then go through physically. That will give you a better picture for it. Something will come up in your mind so that you can correct it easily also. This is my personal experience. And don't begin to edit your report the moment you finish a drafting. See what happens, you do the work, you finish the audit observation, you write the work and immediately you edit it. Then it will not solve the problem. You have to give some cooling time. You finish the report, you write whatever you want to write, you write. You don't write, you please allow the person who is doing the work, probably for juniors or something like that, ask them to write the report. It will tell you two purposes. One, they will also learn how to write the report, and second, you will be able to apply your thing being a senior for correction. So always, in the nutshell, the person who is writing the report and the person who is editing the report should not be the same. It should be different. It can be a team member or it can be a team leader, it can be a manager. But if it is two different persons are involved, then it will make sense in the sense that the person who is writing the report, he will know what he is writing, but he might have omitted something or he might have written something wrong. As a team leader, if somebody else reviews, then he will think in his own way and he will give some value addition to the report so that any mistake in it, that it can be corrected. That is the objective. And third point is that before you begin editing, review the needs of your reading audience. See, you should never see the requirements of the clients differ, right? So one client may need in detail or something more things. He likes some lot of things to be written. Some other client may not be written. They will say that why are you giving me some 80-page, 90-page, and give me a 10-page report? So understand the requirement of the people and then you write. There is nothing wrong and there is nothing right as long as your requirements of the client are taken care of. Okay. The third, the fourth one is reconcile the objectives listed in the report to the findings included to ensure readers' expectations will be met. Read through the entire report at normal reading rate to evaluate and mark all discrepancies, but do not revise until it finishes. Don't be in a hurry to revise the report. First, keep writing whatever you want to write. Then you can multiple times you can go through and you can do the editing. There is nothing wrong in that. By doing so, whatever the mistakes you make while writing the report can be corrected. Don't be in a hurry to edit the report. Keep versions. This is very important. You never know when you need to refer to a version. See why this is very important is first you write the report, you put it as a version 1, then you give it to your seniors, maybe another team member or something like that. Then you will edit something. Don't overwrite the report. If you overwrite the report, you do not know what you have written before. What you have done before might be right. The person who is editing may not be right always, right? So that is what I'm saying. You keep that as a version 2. Then if another senior reviews, let him do whatever he wants, but keep it as a version 3. So finally, when it comes to the partner level, when the partner reviews the thing, and when it comes to discussion with the client, if you want anything to be, then it will help you. Then where you are done, what you have done in version 1, what you have done, version 2, what you have done, version it will help you to go through each and every report you have at various stages in the future also. By overwriting, you will never be able to do anything. So my suggestion, sincere advice is don't overwriting of the report. Keep multiple versions. Even if you keep 20, 25 versions, doesn't matter. In one of the hotels of Taj, it is a New York hotel where I finalized, I kept 18 versions. It kept changing. Finally, when it was discussed, it was the 19th version. But by saving the 19 versions, I will know what changes have taken place in the previous 18 versions. Finally, allow another cooling period and reread from the beginning. Just relax for some time. Keep it for maybe half an hour, 1 hour, depending on the time or something like that. then freshen up yourself, and then you give one more reading and one more. Then it will help you. If you have omitted anything, probably you can add some value addition by adding, by changing, by correcting any of the points, or you can add something also. Finally, get a review done by person senior to you. This is very important. Always before you submit, even at the draft stage also, before you submit your client, ensure that the person at a senior level in an audit firm goes through. It may be the person who is at partner level, or it may be a person at the assignment level who is in charge of the assignment also. But it is better to ensure that everybody in the team, from the team manager, from team member to team manager, team leader, everything is involved, so that all of you are on the same page. When you go for a discussion, all of you talk on the same wavelength. That is the objective. What is a report? Before, when you write the report, you should keep these 3-4 points ideally. You should be very specific in whatever you write. Don't say anything more and don't say anything less. And be precise and be concise. Say what you mean, neither more nor not less, and be very clear. Don't use advanced English or very simple English you can write. I will give you one example also. Be accurate, and most of the very important. Even if you give out of 10 observations, even if you give only 4, if you think only 6 are absolutely right, my suggestion will be restrict the report only to 6. Even if there is a slight doubt, slight mistake, if you think, just delete it. Give the benefit of doubt to the client and delete it, because you should not backfire. When it goes to the final discussion, when it goes to the people, for a client, if something happens, then it will have a very bad, a negative impact on the firm and impact on the person who is doing the audit. Don't give place for that. If you are not confident, for whatever be the reason, there is no time, or the person who has done the audit is no longer with you, or the person who is doing is down with fever, or something, you are not able to cross check with them, whatever be the reasons. If you are not very clear at the final level, just delete that particular observation, nothing wrong. It is better to be keep away and they give a correct report rather than giving incorrect observations. Please keep it in mind. This is the example. You first read the top portion, then I will show you on the screen. This is actually, it's not a very practical. This is an example. This is one of the reports I have received from one of the audit firms. I don't want to name the audit firm here, but this is what has been received. You leave the second page, second bottom portion. You read the first portion. The person who has done the audit has reported like this. The audit review revealed that payroll was only checked. 1 minute, I will put it on the screen share. This is what I have received from the audit firm. The audit review revealed that payroll was only checked by HR and not independently checked by finance as a part of monthly payroll processing in order to improve the control efficiency. Do you understand anything? I did not understand anything. So I checked up. This observation was a very important observation, but because it was messed up while writing the report, and it took almost 1.5 days for me to go back to the audit firm who has done the audit and then change it. Because the problem is here, I face the problem here is that this has happened about 2 years back when I was heading an audit team. The person they submitted the report well in time. There is no problem in that. But I did not go through the report. I was busy. Then I before the audit committee, I went through the report. It was maybe after 1 month after they submitted the report. I did not understand anything, so I had to go back to the audit team. Then I went back to the audit team and they asked me what is it. They are also not able to explain because the person who has done the audit was not very sure on what he has written. Then he has to refer to his partner. Then partner has to refer to his work paper, and then finally they came back to me. So the end-to-end wastage of time for one observation was 1.5 days. So I have rewritten the report like this. We noted that payroll was not being independently checked by the finance team. This is very clear. Be simple, make it very clear. I have rewritten this to the audit committee. What makes a good paragraph? It contains only one idea. Don't mess up with the multiple ideas. And it is very clear, easy to read, and sentences. There is no complication in the sentences. And it should be very short. Don't be in a very lengthy manner. And it should have unity, coherence, and logical connections. It's very clear, simple. Again and again, I'm telling you, my only request to everybody is that make it very simple, straightforward, very basic level of English and crystal clear communication. This is another example. This was also returned by an audit firm. Based on this approved sheet, the compensation benefit department submits summary and forwards the same to finance department, and the bonus point is due. However, the finance payroll department independently verify the accuracy of the bonus summary received. Compensation benefits section with the summary Excel sheet approved by CFO or GM HR department. Individual departments prepare calculation sheets after agreeing with the respective employees and sheets to the HR, submits the sheet to the HR team. The overall bonus payout for the year is approved on the Excel sheet by various people, CEO, CFO, GM. Do you understand anything? But the information which what they have done a very good audit, but finally when it comes to the paper, it is very lagging. So they are not putting in what exactly has to be put. That is why people are committing a mistake because of one single mistake by not writing the observation very clearly. The entire work done by the team for the last 3 weeks or maybe 2 weeks or 1 week is not viewed very favorably. So I have rewritten it like this. After understanding with the client, with the audit firm. Individual departments prepare the bonus calculation sheet after agreeing with the respective employees and submit the sheet to the HR team. The bonus payout for the year is formally approved on the Excel sheet by CEOs and various people. Based on the approved sheet, the company benefit department, compensation benefit department prepares a summary and forwards the same to finance payroll team at the time of bonus. However, the payroll does not independently verify the accuracy of the summary received. Benefit section summary sheet approved by CEO. It is very clear. There is no hanky-panky. What exactly has to be conveyed has been conveyed. This is what I'm saying. Presentation of each observation is absolutely important. What are the key hints to write an effective writing? Use outlines to plan what you say and refer it to it constantly and arrange your points in the sequence and put the most important ones. See what happens in sometimes or not sometimes, many times I feel that some of the good observations are not coming up in the beginning. Suppose an audit firm is submitting a 25-page report. The first few pages maybe contain points worth about negligible amount, like 100 rupees, 200 rupees, or 5,000. There may be some observations probably running to cost saving mode or revenue leakage or whatever it is that will come on the 15th page or 16th page. So by the time the client reads 10th page, he will really have an impression that there is nothing in the report here. Right? Let's go to the next one, something like that. So by putting the good points at the last, it will escape probably the attention of the client. So my suggestion is all the important points summarize and put it at the front page. That will carry more weight to the people who are reading the report. That will give the attraction. That will get the attraction of the people or point out. Start where your readers are. Don't write to a level higher than your knowledge as required. Remember, your prime purpose is to explain and not to prove the point. It's very clear. We need to explain what is there. Don't do anything extra more and anything extra less. Don't use words too complicated, expression, phrases, known only to people with specifically. See, this is a very important point. Many times the audit people, they write observation like based on the results of statistical test, it was discovered that error rate was 7.2% with a 95% confidence. Nobody will understand. When you write any observation, what is the population, what is the sample you have selected, what is out of the sample you have selected, in how many cases you had a problem, and what is the percentage. Everything must be covered in each and every observation. Suppose the population from January, you are auditing from April to March. Suppose the total population, example, payment vouchers you take. There are probably 50 vouchers in a month. 50 into 12, 600 vouchers. Out of 600, you are taking some 50 and they are very random. From 2 months, you are taking probably 15 days or 3 weeks, you are selecting 50. Any month, maybe 15th September to 15th October, whatever it is. Right? And out of the 50, probably you had a problem with 10. Right? So you write the observation instead of 7.2%, 95%, you write out the totally there are 600 vouchers. Our sample was restricted to 100 from the period 15th September to 15th October. In respect of the sample selected in the said period above, we noted discrepancies in 10 cases. So error rate will be 10 by 50, 1/4, 20%. It is very clear. You are giving the population, you are giving the sample, you are giving what is the error rate also, and the 10 cases will come in the annexure also. So client will be very happy. Yes, right. In the 50 cases, they have selected 10 are a problem. So we have to be very careful. That will give an impression, good impression about the person who has done the audit. I will tell you how, I will show you the example also, how to do that. Stick to the point, refer to your outline constantly, ask the question, does it relate to your point in the outline? If you think it is not, then just delete it. Be brief and write very constant to make it tight, straight, and easy to read and understand. Don't make any complications. Present points in a very logical order. Maybe the most important point to the most least point. Avoid mysteries in writing the report. Hit the reader with the main point in the opening the sentence. You are whatever key observations you have, it should come in the first place itself, so that you do not know whether the client will read full entire report or not. If everything is taken care of in the first page, either in the form of an executive summary or in the form of a main report, it is you are done with your job. In return communication, the basic tools are words, sentence, paragraph. Effective use of these tools may make the difference whether the message you intend to give was the one you reader. Both the person who is writing the report and both person reading the report should be on the same wavelength. If that is there, then you have done your report. This slide is very important. Use bullets and be consistent with that formal throughout the report. The font size should be the very same. It should not be 10, 11, 12, 13. If you are selecting 10, restrict to entire page to 10. If you are selecting 11, restrict to 11. If you are selecting to if you are selecting probably Arial, the entire report you restrict to Arial, or Carrial, you do everything there. One font and one thing. So it should be applied uniformly across from first step to the last page of the report. Be consistent with the use of font type and size. Always spell check. It's very important. Use the word draft as a watermark whenever any draft version are being submitted. Text and line spacing to be consistent. Alignment of heading and subheadings. Be consistent with the use of capital letters and small letters. Be consistent with the words of use. Department, function, business. This is why I am saying is some companies there is a concept called CFO, Chief Financial Officer. In some cases, there is a concept called head finance. Some companies, they have got financial controller. All are heads of the department, but different companies call them as a different. So whenever you audit any company, you write according to the client. If the company has a CFO, you write CFO everywhere. Don't write as head of finance, or don't write as accounts head, or don't write as financial controller. If other company you are doing the audit has a financial controller at the topmost report, you use financial controls in that. Make sure all the members have corresponding currency. This is very important, because what happens many times, people write the report and give the annexure just numbers. You do not know whether it is in thousands or it in lakhs or actual numbers. So that should be taken care of. The key points of the report are tabulated here. First, it should be cover page. Second, table of contents, and objective, and fourth, background info, and scope limitation, and observations and conclusions, summary of the results, detailed results, and appendices and exhibits. If all these things are taken care of in the order in which it is mentioned, then the client will be easy to understand for him to go through each and everything. And I'm very sure he will not come back to you, and he will not get stuck also while going through the report, because you are submitting everything in a very professional manner. All these things, if you are submitting in this manner, then I'm very sure 99% of the cases, people will not come back to you for any clarification or any. Now we can go through the examples. These are all I will tell you in an example separately, because it is very difficult to see it here. This is a very important slide. Do's and don'ts. What are the do's? Report must be structured. The first important point. Use very simple language. And the third one is be specific to the point. Don't write anything more and anything less, and mostly don't write anything incorrect. And identify the root cause of the problem before you write any observation, and give value based impact. Preferably, if you have the value, better to quantify. Give issue based impact. Give adequate instances with populations and coverage. Like I have explained earlier, you have to place everything on the table. And after this, I will also tell you how you have to maintain your work papers also, apart from report writing. All annexures to have values on total. Many times what happens that annexure they give 10 cases, it doesn't carry any total. That is the biggest problem. I have to the client has to personally take the total. The figures given in the points should tie up with that in the annexure. Many times it is lagging. People say something in the report, and when you come to annexure, some different figure will be there. Annexure references in the report should match with the actual annexure number. All annexures must have relevant information relating to the point. This is pathetic. Sometimes what happens, they give points and they give annexures. First, suppose there are you take one department HR, you have got some 5 observations, okay, and out of 5 observations, you give annexures only for 3 points, 1, 3, and 5, okay. What happens, sometimes the third point or second point is getting deleted while discussing, or when your seniors or your partner, he deletes it is not your material, you can delete this report, you can delete this point. So the 5 is becoming 4 points. But annexure also should be changed accordingly. No, if particular annexure was there in the third point, by deleting the second point, actually it will be the second point. So in that annexure, it will be still 3. They don't correct it as a 3. So by reading the annexure and the report, it will not tally. The client will get confused. In the client will be reading the point number 3, whereas observation will be point, and the annexure which you are showing will be related to the point 2. This is invariably it happens. That is why to avoid this, what my suggestion will be to link the observation to the annexure, so that when you delete any observation, the annexure also will get deleted and automatically the number will also change. So you do the hyperlinking and your problem will be taken care. Issue to be segregated. This is very important. Nowadays, what happens? Many people, they club everything in the same observation and making mess of the observation. That is wrong. The client will not understand anything. Right word should be used in the report, first place. And the terms commented by the audience should be used very clearly. Terms should be very used. Important points in the annexure should be given as instances in the main point itself. Suppose if there is an important point, instead of giving that point in the annexure, you give it in the below the particular observation itself. If you think it is a very important observation, maybe revenue leakage or cost cutting or overspending, you don't have to go to the annexure. You just give the example in the below the observation itself. Every point should have adequate supporting papers with relevant backups and documents. This will be useful when the client, suppose you submit the report in a month, then after 1 month they call you for discussion or something like that. Then if you have any backup papers correctly maintained, then it will be very useful. Otherwise, you will get stuck when you go for the final discussion with the meeting. So invariably it happens. When people come to me, when I call audit firms for any discussion or something like that, invariably they keep searching the papers in front of me. Finally, what happened? It is wasting their time and it is wasting our time also, client's time also. So to avoid everything, before you go for final discussion or before you ensure you spend at least 1 hour or half an hour or 2 hours in your office. Ensure that each observations are correct. Understand the observation. Give one more reading to the report. Understand the points and ensure that all the work papers are properly arranged in the file, and then you carry. You ensure to carry the report, whatever I said before, cover page, your page, everything, annexure, everything in a very logical, course manner. It might or it might not be useful, but when the client asks, you will not stumble there. You will be able to produce it. These are all small matters, but it carries very huge value. When you are able to present what you will not know what the clients will ask. Different if the client is having some CFO, CEO, COO, everything, each one will ask you so many questions. As and when any question is raised, you must be able to clarify the doubt without even looking into the file. If you start looking into the file in front of the client, then you will not have any respect at all. Please understand that. That is why I say before you go for any final discussion or you do your homework properly, ensure that you are very thorough. It is like writing an examination. Final discussion is writing like an examination. When you are going to the examination, you know what all the things you show. So you will write very clearly, right? You will not look for something in there. So similarly, when you go for final discussion, you spend ample time and ensure that whatever you have to speak, you ensure that all points in the observations you are very absolutely sure of, and keep the papers correctly so that if anybody asks anything, you will be able to submit with ease. Otherwise, it will be very difficult because the client may not be interested in wasting his time in front of you. These are all the 5 important points which you should never do in any audit. One-off cases not to be reported. I see many reports, even today, I see many reports, some 100 rupees or 1000 rupees or 4000 rupees. When a company is having a turnover of 500, 600 crore, how does it matter 10,000 rupees if something is not there? Just show those, leave it. It's not worth it also. One-off cases, you offline, you agree with your client and take it off. You don't even have to come in the report. One-off points. You say, sir, this is an observation which we pointed out. but somehow we are not putting up in the report because it is not worth it. So please ensure that this is not getting repeated. Or you can put in a different, say, some management letter or probably a different account, this separate report of your observation, give it to them. It's nothing wrong in that. Main report may you try to avoid one-off cases, a small amounts. It is not worth it. See, the simple. What has happened has happened. By pointing 100 rupees, the client will ask, "Arey yaar, my business is 580 crore, 10,000 इसका छोटा." Yes, I know it has happened. क्या करूँ? I can't do anything. Just leave it. Don't make it an issue. And repetitive language should be avoided. Keep the same thing again and again and again should be avoided. Client will get irritated while seeing the report. And contradictions to be avoided. Don't mix up different points in the same. One point should be separate. Each point should be very, very clear. There should not be mixing up of the points. And the lengthy annexures should be avoided. Maximum one sheet is enough. See, suppose you are taking a sample of say about 100 cases. Now most of your work will be, I'm very sure you'll be using the audit techniques and you'll be running it on your Excel or something like that, where maybe you will be running an annexure of say 45, 50 cases. My suggestion will be, don't have to give 50 page, what all you are having, you keep it as a work paper. You don't have to give the entire 50 to the client. You can say that yes, in 50 cases, we had a problem. There is a error rate of so many in 50 cases. 50 by, I have seen 150 cases. Out of 150, we have a problem in 50 cases. So 50 by 150, 33% is the problem. But when you come to annexure, you give only the 10 or 12 or 15, not more than that. As long as each annexure is not running to more than one page, it is enough. How you put it? You put it, my suggestion will be to put it in the descending order. Suppose that 50 cases you have a problem, you put the amount in the descending order, say from the highest amount maybe 1 lakh, the lowest amount maybe 10,000. You put it in the descending order and cover. By doing so, the top 10 or 15 will always cover your 90% of your observations. Suppose the total impact on that observation in the 50 cases, say about 2 lakhs. Right? First 10 cases may constitute 60%. That is enough. You are already taken care of by 60% by doing the correct thing. So balance people don't even be look into it. They will say, yes, this is the problem. We have to correct it. The client will accept that. Avoid giving annexes too lengthy. Nobody will read it. Okay. Now I will tell you what are the examples. Few examples I will show you. See, this is the first page. I will call it as a cover page. What you do is, first you write the name of the company or the name of the unit at the top left. Whether if you are doing in a company or you are doing any branch, you put the name of the branch or company and internal audit file. And you have to write the period company name and what is the unit, which company, which unit you are. If you have a unit, you will put. Other, if a unit is not there, you can drop it. And internal, which period, 2021 or 1920, whatever it is. Then split the report into 3, A, B, C. I would say it should be A, B, C, and D also. First point will be executive summary, where it is a bullet line point, which I will show you. The second page will be sign off page, and the third page will be observations. The observation you can split into current observations and the previous year observations and annexes. What is a page number? Executive summary maybe second page to third page, sign off page maybe fourth, and observation maybe from 5 to 25, and current year observation maybe 5 to 20, and previous year observation may be 21 to 25, and annexes may be 26 to 35, like that. This is very important. What is the audit date? When did you start and when did you close? Audit period, which is the period of audit you are covered, January to December or April to March, April 20 to March 21, like that. And what is the name of the audit firm? XYZ Company Limited, whatever your name firm name. And who is the partner in charge? It may be Sridhar or Swaminathan or Bhavin, whoever it may be. And what is the audit team? How many people are there? X team leader and Y is a team member. So 3 people. You put all the team member along with the bracket, right? Team leader, team member, associate, something. And total mandates, how many mandates you have spent in that assignment? When I say mandate, it is the person who is involved at the part, right from team member to the partner level. Everything must be included. By doing this, you will get an impression on whether you have spent a lot of time in this assignment and underpaid, or you have spent probably next year, probably it will have a review point for you saying that last year I have spent so much of time, this year we need to select you only this much. So it will give you an idea on how to proceed further also. So that is the objective. And it will also help client to say that yes, people have covered in depth in a very limited span of time. That will give an impression to the client also. And one is a report submitted, and when is the report discussed, and when is the report finally submitted. Draft report submission date, discussion date, and the final submission date. And total number of pages in the report. When I am saying total number of pages, it is up to the end of the report, including the annexure, current observation, previous observation, annexure. Everything will be a running serial number, and total number of pages you will put it. This will be the second page, will be like this, sign off page. At the end of the audit, you always ensure that you put your name. That is the audit form name here, and here what is a partner name and what is a partner signature. Here maybe 2 people in the finance team, financial controller, a general manager, or probably financial CFO and CEO. It depends upon company to company. You can take 2 people at the top most senior people, 2 people at the very end. These are all executive summary. What is the priority observation, priority 2 and priority 3? All observations, my suggestion will be to split into priority wise. Top priority, medium priority, and low priority. You can prioritize according to your revenue leakage or cost, depending upon that. It varies from client to client. And you always first categorize into 3 colors. When it is a high risk, you put it as a red category. When it is a medium risk, you can mark it as a yellow or orange. Or if it is a low category, you can calculate into green color. Because I will never look into the green category. Because my policy is that no organization is perfect. Every organization has got its unique problems. Nobody can do 100% work perfectly. If 100% work is done properly, then which means something is wrong basically somewhere. I'm telling you openly, you can take it. So nobody can do 100% perfect, whether it's a client side, whether it's an audit firm. So low priority will be there. So problems will always be there in any company. See, in a time frame of 8 hours, 10 hours, whoever it might be, whether the person who is doing the audit, whether it's a client side, you can only do limited work. You cannot do everything perfectly 100%, 200%. If you say that everything is 100% right, which means you have not done the audit properly. I'm very clear. Nothing is perfect. Everywhere there is a problem. See, you can focus your attention on only certain areas. The other areas is still lacking. You are lacking because you are not able to concentrate. It holds good not only for the audit firm but also for the people in your client side also. Client can focus on the day-to-day operations very high. You will focus only on key issues. You will not, second issues will omit. It will always be like this one. So nothing is perfect. As long as it is 90% working fine or 95% working fine, you have done with it. See, there are two ways of writing the report. One, you can put it in the PowerPoint mode, or whether you can put it in the Word document. So I will tell you both PowerPoint how to put and how to put in the Word document. In the PowerPoint slide, if you put it, what is the put? You put first what is the area. Suppose which it is maybe a manufacturer. Suppose you take a hotel, probably the front office or food and beverages or HR, whichever area you are putting in department, you put it here. Then you write your observation here. That is why I have given you 50% of the space in the page. And what is the risk? You have to classify the risk, whether it is a high risk or a medium risk or the low risk. So you put it, if it is high, you put it as a red. If it is a medium, you put it as a yellow or orange. And if it is a green, you put it as a low risk. What is the, see, when you write the observation, you have to ensure that two things. One, what is the impact, and what is the recommendation, and what is the audit comments. That is more important. Here recommendation, what is the audit response, and this is very important. Bottom portion, what is the population covered and what is the population size. Suppose you may cover population will be from April to March, and what is the population size? Probably 600. And what is the sample size? You would have taken 100 or 50. And what is the sample value you have taken? Probably you can take 5 lakhs or 50, something like that. And what is the policy, whether it is a policy related, whether it is a process related, whether it is a people related, whether it is a technology related, or and secondly, most important, if it is a previous year observation or the observation for the appearing for the first time, that is the current year observation. You have to put yes or no. If it is a previous observation, then it will be very serious, because the previous year observation, the client has accepted to implement it last year itself, but he has not implemented. Again, it is coming as an observation in the current year. It will be very seriously bad. All previous year observations repeating will be viewed very seriously in any organization for that matter. And what is the efficiency, what is the effectiveness, and what is the risk mitigation? If you fill up in this way, everything is covered for that particular observation in a tabular form. This is one way of presentation. I said executive summary. First 2 pages will be executive summary. So you always write executive summary, name of the company, what is that date, and you put executive summary. This is actually one of the hotels which has come to me for review now. This is an international hotel. It is not having presence in India. Executive summary, I put it as an executive summary, and human resources. So because the client wanted in this fashion, I have written the report in this way, so that because the client wanted in that, they want in the order was selected. You remember that you always write the report as per requirement of your client. You cannot write according to your convenience. You have to write the report as per convenience of the client. Client's requirement vary from client to client. Doesn't matter. Nothing is right, nothing is wrong. As long as you take care of your client requirement, it is fine. Some people may give HR at the last. Some people may prefer to have HR at the beginning itself. It all depends upon client. If client has taken a call, you cannot question the client. Okay, this client has taken it as in this fashion, because if you ask me, I have spent about almost 6 years in a hotel industry. If you ask me, I will give preference to F&B, food and beverages, and I will give preference to front office. The reason being that my food front office in any hotel, if you take, the revenue from booking, room booking, comes at least 45 to 50%, and the balance 45% comes from food and beverages. So 90 to 95% of the revenue in any hotel comes from front office, that is a room booking, plus the food. The baki ka other is split into other things like housekeeping, laundry, and the other comes to other division. So if you give me, I will write the front office observations first and F1B operations second. But in this case, the client wanted HR first, so I have given it HR. So I cannot question. So each observation, if you carefully see that I have pointed out in HR itself, I have taken it as point number 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, like that. Then front office second, I have classified as 2.1, 2.2, 2.3. I have always returned the report in each area according to the most important observation in that particular department, and the least observation in the will be always at the last. Even while writing the report also, if I take HR, I have say some 7 observations. The critical observation will be the first, and the lowest observation will be last. That is, high risk will be point number 1, and the medium risk point the middle, and the last low risk will be at the last. For each and every department, I have classified it in this way. That is why I said 1.2, 1.7, 1.2, 2.1. I have written like this for engineering and all that. This is a very one way of explaining the entire observation in a single line, like delay in ranging between 129 and 324 days notice in carrying a pre-employment medical checkup in 4 out of 8 cases. See here the sample itself very, very less. You can say that why you have put this point as a very important point. The reason I have classified this as high risk is that pre-employment check in any organization, not only in the hotel it is more important. The pre-employment organization is nothing but the background verification. You know what has happened in Mumbai in 2008, Taj Hotels, right? There the terrorist has come and demolished completely the entire ransacked the hotel. A lot of people have lost their lives. Okay, so you don't know whether the person who are employing as a background verification, good background or good without background. So you must do police verification or you must do some verification of the person before you recruit a job. Because in most of the hotels, what happens, you always recruit people on a contract basis or a temporary basis or something, unless people are at the top level. Okay, so pre-employment check is always important, and you ensure that you don't recruit any person who is having a negative background like terrorist background and all that. So particular case, this was not there. Why this was not there? In the before before I did the audit, there was one guy who was recruited as a terrorist, and it was not mentioned. They have not done the background verification, and nobody was knew that he's from a terrorist background. And then what happened again? After a few months, he absconded. After he absconded, only people came to know that this guy has a negative background. So that is why even if the small size, so 4 to 8 cases, I am emphasizing on the point that this concept itself of not doing the pre-employment is wrong. You should open up your eyes and do that. This background verification. It is a very important point. That is why I have classified it as a first point. This is a process oriented. It is not even people or technical. It is a process gap. That is why I put it as a process. Remember that any observation where there is a process gap must always be given top priority. And the second case, employees working continuously for more than 7 days without weekly off. See why I have classified it second one, because people who are having continuously 7 days, you will lose your efficiency. You will never be having any, people will not be able to apply their mind beyond 8 hours, 10 hours. You can't work 15 hours per day continuously without any break. People will, their efficiency level of the person will always come down naturally because of the overwork, because of the overstrain. So you should always try to avoid that. That is why I have classified it as a second high risk point. Like that, what my suggestion will be, classify it into a priority for each and every area of reporting, and highest point with highest risk will always be given top priority. Please ensure that. This is why each and every team must be returned like this. Last point, the company was using SAP. I have given some SAP control issues also. It was why I have given, although it is a very important because it is a ERP gap. I have still classified it at the end because it was not form part of my scope. My scope of work as an auditor was restricted only to the functional audit, like front office, various functions or gaps, something like that. SAP control, I have done out of my own interest these are all the points which should be read. That is why I have classified this as the bottom of it. Otherwise, I would have given you, in the sense, in the nutshell, you always write the report as per the scope given to you. Don't sideline the scope because each company will follow different set of rules. You always meet the client's requirement. If the company does not want you to focus on certain things, please don't focus. But if you come across any point, but for the sake of interest for the company, you can put it at the end so that the client will open up their eyes and he might or he might not look in. That's a different call. But you ensure that you put it at the end. By doing so, you have done your job. You have given some additional information for wherever there is a mistake which you have noticed during the course of your assignment. I will show you the report also. See, this is the main report. What is the name of the company? This is name of the company and what is the internal audit 2021. I have done this audit for 2021. I have finalized in the month of August, about 2-3 months back. See, the first row will always be current year observation. If it is a previous year observation, it will be a previous year observation. If it is a current year observation, here there is no previous year observation because this is the first year of operation for the hotel. So that is why there is no previous year observation. So for current year observation, I have put it. And the second row will be, you always, this is a second way of presenting the report in a Word document. I have not presented it in the PowerPoint because the client wanted it in a Word document. That is why I am giving it to them in a Word document. So each report must contain minimum 5 to 6 columns, right? First column will be the serial number. The second point will be the exact observation. The third one will be what is the impact. And the fourth one, what is the recommendation and what is the management response. Please ensure that the point, you always write the report in this manner. And my font size, everything will be same everywhere. You will not have any differential form. Here it will be bold and observation will always, there will be a single line space each paragraph. And here after the serial number observation, you can see what is the point number 1. It is a current year observation. I put it as a C1, C2, C3. And here what I am saying is T3 final. What is the front? I will put it as a front office code. Then what is the body? See, the entire observation what I am writing, I have classified it as a single line head, so that people know what is that observation I am writing about. This entire observation pertains to the code, rate code in the hotel. That is why I have put it as a T70 rate code usage. I had a problem with the rate code usage. That is why I have put it in this point. If you come to the second point, before I write the second point, I have classified it into a subheading: delay in recording of RR. This is the third point, Wi-Fi usage. And what is the point of delay in that? See, when I write Wi-Fi usage, I will talk about what is the problem in that particular. So the entire observation I have classified into a single liner subheading. Okay, so first you see this report. I have covered everything here. The entire report was written by me only. It is not written by anybody else. So what I have written is, first, why I have given 3 paragraphs. The first paragraph will always talk about what is the policy and what is the process which is there in the company. And second point, what is your observation? Second paragraph. And the third paragraph will be what is the error. So by doing so, I am talking about the policy of the company. Second paragraph shows the policy, above policy is not being compiled, and why it is not compiled, in how many cases it is not compiled, it is there in the third paragraph. You can read it. First, I am talking about the rate. What is the process for this rate code? T07 rate code is early bird rate code which is observed for guests reserving the room. As per this rate code, 14 days prior to arrival, and the entire money has to be collected. Suppose a guest is coming to the hotel, you have to ensure that you collect the entire advance money 14 days before. That is the policy of the company. Now, second paragraph says a sample review of 29. I have taken a sample of 29 under T01 during the period October. Which period? I have taken it October to December 18 and February 18. Received, I have out of received 6 cases. In 6 cases, the difference between the date of arrival and the date of reservation was less than 14 days. Further, in 18 cases, advance as required as per the policy was not collected either at the time of reservation or at the time of check-in. And all cases were settled at the time of guest checkout. What is the third paragraph? Third paragraph said on the sample review booking made under T20 code. This is for a different code. The unsanctioned review of TV package with the direct billing code, we observed that adherence was pre-authorization was not taken in the 14 cases out of 40 cases. See, if you see my observation, I have taken what period? I have taken October to December and February as my sample. Out of this, what is the sample size I have selected? I have selected sample of 29. Out of the 29, what is my problem? I have had a problem in the 14 cases. So definitely everything is covered. I have given sample size, I have given problem, I have given the sample month also. My work papers will always be like this one. What are the 29 cases I have selected? I will have a backup of work paper so that when the client comes, what are you show me? What are the 29 cases using? Please, Deco sir. This is what I will show my Excel. I will show my printout. Say, these are all the 29 bookings. I have taken 5 from October, 5 from November, 5 from December, and 10 from February. These are all the problems. This is the problem. So I will be able to show the entire record to him. And what are the cases? I want to give some highlighted annexes. So I have written that details are given in the annex 26A, 26B. I have given very clearly. Ideally, what I will say is, here I have selected it because it is I have not done the auto numbering here. I have done some manual numbering. That is why this number. My suggestion will always be that if it is a C1, you make the annexure as C1. If it is a C2, make the annexure as C2. Because it is always once you always try to hyperlink when putting it in this point with the annexure which you are placing at the end of the report, so that if you click here in the annexure, then it will automatically go to the annexure, and when you click at the annexure, automatically it will come back to this point. Both ways you do the hyperlinking, so that anybody who wants to go to the annexure instantly, they can do so. Always try to ensure that point number and annexure number carry both the same number. It will always be better and it will look nice also. And I have written the observation. Come to the impact. Okay, I have not done that in 10 cases, 14 cases, I had a problem. But what is the impact? Impact is, first impact is non-adherence to the rate code policy. Policy says before 14 days, I have to take the advance. They have not done the advance. I have written. They have not taken advance at the time of checking or previously also. So, which is a non-compliance of the policy. I have put it as a non-compliance of the policy. As I said earlier, policy related, process related must be mentioned at the beginning itself because it is a very serious violation. And second, by doing so, by not collecting the advance, unauthorized advance being given as these are discounted rate codes and non-adherence to rate code policy. And what is the recommendation? The unit shall ensure that policy must be accompanied should be mentioned. And other things that always, what is the client says? Client says, yes, it is a mistake and we will follow. Please remember that management response should only be 1 line or 2 lines. Either it should be point number accepted, it will be implemented. This audit period was from last year July to current year June. Okay, I have done the audit in the month of August. The client has said that point as token. Well, yes, that is why he has written point agreed. There should not be any dispute in the management response at all. Please note that all points should be agreed. If there is not agreed, then it should not be in the report itself. It should be deleted from the report. Not a single point should be disagreed in the report. Management response only two lines. One, first line agreed. Second line, date of implementation. We will implement from, since this is for July to June, the client has given me assurance that he will implement from 1st of September or 1st of October, whatever it is. So I have written it as a 1st of October. So by doing so, next year when I do the audit, I will take some sample. When the client, this point, I will use the T7, T20 rate code next year sample, next July to June, when I'm doing the audit, and I will say that I will take some sample pertaining to this code, and I will see whether any violation will be there. Because why I'm saying this, because the client says that yes, going forward from September, I will follow this observation. I will ensure that all cases my advance will be collected and there will not be any deviation. So I will take some sample after the agreement date. What is the agreement date? September. Agreed to implement date is September. So I will take some sample next year after September, some 10, 15, 20, whatever it is, and I will ensure that whether whatever has been agreed earlier is being followed or not. If it is not being followed, then next year when I write the report, it will be a previous year observation because this pertains to this year. So next year it is getting repeated. So next year when I write the report, it will be the sample may be for the next year sample, but original observation originated from the previous report. So that is why I will classify it as a previous year observation. I will put it as a previous year observation. By doing so, it will be a very serious observation because when it is a point is repeating and appearing as a previous year observation, then which means that whatever the client has agreed earlier is not being implemented. Either the client is taking you for a ride or he is not able to implement for genuine reasons. We are not bothered about it. You have to ensure, sir, you have agreed to implement this from September 2021. We have taken some samples from October or something like that. It is not being, it is not in follow. It is coming as a result. So remember that client also more than you, client will take it very seriously about the previous year observations. Okay. See, I will show you one more report also. Many times what happens, you will submit 20-page report or 50-page report or 30-page report. Okay. People at the top, they may not have the time or they may not have interest to go through each and every line item. Whatever be the reason, because they will not have time to go through each and everything. So ideally at the end of the day, what they will do is they will say that, why don't you give me a management summary so that covering only the key points. Okay. They will say, okay, I will accept the point as this thing, entire report, we will accept it as an entire report, but at the end time, we will not have any time to go through all the reporting because people at the CFO level or CEO level or chief operating level, they may not have the time to go through each and every report in detail. You see me, that is always better. Even before the client asks you, you say you give some executive summary containing only the key points. It may be one from HR, it may be one from front office, and one from two from FMB, and all that. Doesn't matter. Key point. The key points will be process oriented, or probably revenue leakage, or probably excessive spending, or something like that, or probably the technology oriented. We don't know. See, wherever correction is required, wherever there is a huge impact, you identify some 5 points, 10 points, different as the case may be, and present it to the matter in this manner. It will be very nice. And this format can also be used for audit committee purpose, because when you go to the audit committee, nobody will have time to read 100-page report. Independent directors, they will not do all that. So always you write this, what is a management summary? You write the first observation, same 3 points. As what is the, when you write the observation also, you put it as what is the policy and what is your observation and what is here. On the left hand side, you will write the observation. On the right hand side, you put it as impact. Because of this observation, what is the impact? I have taken in this only 4 or 5 points covering revenue leakage. What I have done, inadequate control conduct charges, it has an impact of 1.75 lakhs loss of revenue. So what is the way forward? Way forward is nothing but your recommendation. What the recommendation agreed by the client, not by you. Please ensure that each and every point you are discussing with the client must have the impact or must impact on can be on your own, but the recommendation and the management response should be from the client side. Recommendation should always be because it should be implementable. You cannot write something on your own which cannot be implemented by the client. Then tomorrow you cannot say that I have not agreed this, you have written something, it cannot be implemented, my system will not permit me to implement all these things, so it is not my problem, I cannot implement this. They should not come and say you. So implement will be, please discuss your observation as well as whatever, if you are writing any recommendation on your own, first of all, avoid writing recommendation on your own. Recommendation should be very practicable and to the size of the capability of the client. So if discuss the recommendation also with the client, whatever client says you write, it should be agreeable, it should be then once it is agreed, then based on the recommendation, the person will agree. Yes, it can be implemented, we will implement so and so. That is why I have written all this way forward or as being discussed with the client, whatever the client says, they have been written. And if you see all the points here, everywhere it will be aggregate implemented. It is already implemented. That is why I have put since implemented. When I finalized the audit report in the month of August, they have implemented right away at the point of, at the time of discussion itself, they have implemented. So I have since implemented. Everything has been accepted. Remember that there should not be any disconnect here at all. Everything must be implemented because this report is primarily meant for the top people of the company like CEO or board or CFO, CEO or the independent director. They are not interested in going through your work. It has only 5 pages or 10 points. I have given some of 6 points or something, 3-4 pages covering key points, and then all points are in there. The rest of the reports, I will say that it's all there in the company. You can go through whenever you feel like doing it. So that is why I have given this. So this I have covered. Now I will show you quickly. I will show you. Allow me about 5 minutes. I will close this. I will show you one more very important, how to maintain the audit of work paper. See, many times what happens, I face an issue with my people who are doing that audit. They say that whenever I ask any question, they don't know. I will ask him, sir, what is, I will call up the boys and ask them, what is the sample you have selected for this particular thing and what is your thing? He says, sir, I have to check back from my partner. Sir, I will check back. And this leads to waste of time and waste of irritation also sometimes. So that is why when people go for a job, I will design a format, I will give it to them for each and everything, whether in each and every department, each and every area you do the audit, you have to maintain 3 simple basic reasons. One, what is the area which you are saying? In that area, what is the audit coverage you are doing it, and what is the suggested sample you are selecting? Where you have to be, I always insist my boys to ensure that they cannot vacate the client's place without this. You see that this is a format which I have designed very recently. I have written it as what is the front office or F1B and all that. In F1B, what all they have done? They have done that accuracy of menu master and outlet. They say they have done 100%. And one second point is FOB point of sale control exception report. They have verified 2 months. And the review of process liquor, they say this activity was verified for 2 months. Spot checks, they say 1 day during the audit. They say it is this activity was done 4 months. So always write what is the area and what is the activity and what is the sample. The more precise will be, instead of writing 2 months or 1 month, you can write the month itself. April month, June, July, whatever it is, whichever month you select. By doing so, it will also have a very clear picture. Maybe see, you will remember when you are doing the audit. Now I have done the audit in the month of August. I will remember in for 1 month, maybe September. Now, if you come and ask me what I have done in this audit, I will not know. I will remember the observation, but I will not remember what is the sample I have selected. So I have to go back. When I want to go back, when I want to refer the file, I must have the basic information, because everything I cannot keep it in my mind. So that is why I record, okay, I will take up this paper and I will say that, okay, this area was done for 2 months, right? TK, okay. So I have modified the report in the current year to my boy, saying that instead of writing 3 months, 2 months, 1 month, write the name of the month very precisely, so that I will know that these guys have done something in the month of June, something in the month of July, something in the month of August, something they will understand. So it is not only help you to understand what you have done at a future date, but also will help the client if he asks, sir, this activity was saying that you have done something. Can you share me? Can you please share me the month, what the sample you have selected? Yes, sir. You please take it. You can give this point. The client will be very happy. That is why I always say that be precise and remember that in today's world, client is God. You have support, you are expected to meet the requirement of the client by not compromising on your profession, by not compromising on the quality, by not compromising on the other thing. But at the same time, you must ensure that requirements of the client are present, and you have to constantly upgrade yourself so that the demands of the clients are met consistently and properly and on time. That is most important. By doing all these things, I find no reason why you will not get the assignment for the second time also. Please ensure that all that what you are doing is, once you see, many times I have seen many audit people, the junior people who do the audit, they slog day and night for 9 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, and then they probably have very good fun. But because they are not able to present it properly, their work is not being recognized at all. Many times I have seen in the last 25 years that many people who do the job, but they are not able to present it in a very nice manner. Because they are not able to do it nice manner, their work was not rated very high, despite the fact that they are having a good observation. My sincere request to everyone is that please put the report, because at the end of the day, the performance of the audit firm, the performance of the audit team who is doing the audit will be evaluated based on what you give to the report, in the what you give in the report to the client. However good, however bad you may do in a day-to-day life, it doesn't matter at all. You must be able to present very nicely, to the point, correctly, accurately. If that is said, that will be the starting point for the customer to appreciate, to evaluate your performance. With this, I close my presentation and I thank Mr. Bhavin for giving me an opportunity to at least explain whatever I have learned in the last 25 years. Thank you very much.
Much, sir, for taking the session on this. Truly appreciate various members are also training on the private very nicely in detail. Explanation and has been learned by you various additional points. What are the do's and don'ts? It has to be considered. I am extremely grateful that you have accepted our invitation in the study group and explain in depth and various focus what are the points to be considered. I request my colleague Gaurav Mishra to just give you a vote of thanks, sir. I request you to
Thank you
kindly
so
accept
much.
this. Yeah, Gaurav. Gaurav?
Yes, hi Bhavin. So good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good
Uh,
evening.
Sir, I was listening your this webinar since last 1 hour because I was traveling. But I can
Okay.
say one thing: the way how you explained, because I think in the internal audit, this is the very important area. You do a lot of work, but till the time you don't know how to maintain the documentation, how to maintain the reports or present into the report format of the board or committees, that is very important. And the way how you explained that, yes, into the audit report that observation should come in this way, and the root cause will be linked with the shall be linked with the your respective audit observations and recommendations also, so that the people who will review the report, they will came to know, yes, again this particular observation, this is the risk and this is the root cause. So I can say that we have learned a lot today's session, and I also feel that other members also, because these things we cannot learn from outside till the time some person who is having a quite good experience. And I can say, sir, thank you so much for joining and taking the invitation and accepting the invitation.
Thank
So
you very
we
much.
look forward to you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining. Thank you, sir, once again.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Swaminathan. So nice of
Uh,
you.
Swaminathan, sir, Ram Verma. Yeah.
Hello.
Tell me, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very nice,
Ram.
Mr. Swaminathan. Very nicely put.
Thank you.
Simple but straightforward, to the point, as an audit is expected in case of internal audit. You have been very impressive, and you have put the right efforts to explain how the audit should be carried forward, how it is conducted, how the documentation should be maintained, and it is a thorough professional job. So nice of you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. As long as it is of some help, I'm very happy.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, sir. Thank you.